He's a top-notch detective who solves every case with ease and precision. No criminal can escape justice when he's on the case. She's a stunning thief, stealing high-priced art. No security system can stop her. They're enemies, like a cat and mouse. But against all odds, the cat and mouse fall in love. Can such a love ever work out? Let's turn the clock back a few months. The fresh-faced detective is named Lee Hotay, a modern-day Sherlock Holmes. One day, the police encountered a particularly challenging case, but after a quick analysis, Hotay effortlessly pinpointed the suspect. However, that night, as he was arresting the suspect, a car suddenly sped by, hitting the suspect and leaving him critically injured before fleeing the scene. Hotay vowed to catch the hit-and-run driver. After some analysis and deduction, Hotay quickly found the suspect's address. The suspect was a woman named Yoon Jin-suk. The first time Hotay saw her, she was applying a facial mask. Hotay explained the situation to her and asked Yoon Jin-suk, who was applying a facial mask, to come with him. To his surprise, she stubbornly refused. Hotay, left with no choice, removed the mask himself, only to find she was his first love and ex-girlfriend. 10 years ago, Hotay was an innocent and naive high school senior preparing for college. He had a brief but unfulfilled romance with Jin-suk. To this day, Hotay still remembers it vividly. Seeing his first love again brought back sweet memories from the past. For the sake of the case, Hotay had to take Jin-suk to the police station. On the way, Jin-suk kept coughing due to a cold. Hotay stopped at a pharmacy to buy her some cold medicine. Just as they were about to reach the station, Jin-suk told Hotay she didn't have a driver's license. Hotay panicked. Driving without a license and causing an accident was no small matter. While Hotay was stressing over what to do, he got a call from his property manager saying his apartment was flooding. So, Hotay diverted and took Jin-suk back to his place. The flooding was quite bad, so they started cleaning up the floor together. After finishing, Hotay bought Jin-suk some food. While eating, Hotay got a call from his boss asking about the arrest. Hotay lied, saying that Jin-suk wasn't home when he arrived. Despite eating, Jin-suk's cold hadn't improved, so Hotay let her stay at his place. The next day, when his colleagues asked about the case, Hotay assured them that Jin-suk would turn herself in within 2 days. Back home, Jin-suk bought groceries and made pasta for Hotay. Though the apartment was a mess, Hotay felt a profound happiness. Today, Jin-suk appeared to be living a glamorous life. She owned a house in a wealthy neighborhood and seemed to be a teacher. Hotay asked Jin-suk why she hit someone that night. Jin-suk explained that as a new driver, she got confused between the brake and the accelerator, accidentally hitting the person. Hotay felt relieved it wasn't intentional, and luckily, the victim was a criminal. For Jin-suk's sake, Hotay advised her to turn herself in. Since he was handling the case, she wouldn't get a harsh sentence. Jin-suk agreed, but the next day, Hotay discovered a shocking truth. His ex-girlfriend was involved in more than just a hit-and-run. Several art thefts had occurred recently. After thorough investigation, the police identified a suspect, and that suspect was Jin-suk. Jin-suk was a top-tier art thief, never failing and recently stealing several masterpieces. Hotay was stunned. No wonder Jin-suk could afford to live in a wealthy area. It was all from stolen art. Hotay quickly found Jin-suk to ask for an explanation, seeing her just after a class. Now, Hotay understood she was teaching people how to con and steal. Hotay felt angry, realizing Jin-suk had been deceiving him all along. Jin-suk, however, was unapologetic, saying she was forced by circumstances and was ready to face jail time. But Hotay was conflicted. On the way, Jin-suk told him to turn right, but he turned left instead and accidentally crashed the car into some steps. While Hotay was getting the car fixed, his colleague called, saying they had found Jin-suk at the pharmacy. The surveillance footage showed Jin-suk with a man. Hotay panicked the man was him. He didn't want his colleagues to know about his special relationship with the art thief. Hotay had no choice but to protect Jin-suk. To avoid police tracking, Hotay smashed Jin-suk's phone and had her stay at his place. Back at the police station, his colleagues had obtained the pharmacy surveillance footage. Hotay pretended to slip and tried to destroy the surveillance footage, but his colleague caught it mid-air. Hotay thought he was doomed, but the footage didn't show his face at all. It turned out Jin-suk had cleverly blocked the camera with a bottle of cold medicine. She had anticipated this situation all along. Yes, Jin-suk had never forgotten Hotay. One evening, Jin-suk was alone at Hotae's house when one of his friends came by looking for him and shared many stories about Hotae. After Jin-suk broke up with Hotae 10 years ago, he was completely shattered, practically crying, causing a scene, and even threatening to harm himself. Because Jin-suk mentioned that she liked men who were police officers, Hotae switched his career from art to law enforcement. All these years, Hotae had been waiting for Jin-suk. Hearing this, Jin-suk fell into a reverie. 10 years ago, Hotae was just an art student. Jin-suk modeled while Hotae painted, and they seemed like a perfect match. Jin-suk returned to Hotae's home, found the portrait he had painted of her 10 years ago, and carefully preserved it. It turned out they were both the same. They hadn't forgotten each other in all these years. Meanwhile, Hotae learned about Jin-suk's past from his colleagues. 10 years ago, Jin-suk was already a habitual offender. Once, after stealing a pair of shoes, she was caught by the police. That day was supposed to be their 100-day anniversary of being in love. Hotae had bought roses and a ring to propose to Jin-suk, but Jin-suk was arrested and couldn't make it to their meeting place. While sitting in the police car, Jin-suk asked the officers to take a different route because her beloved boy was waiting for her. When she saw Hotae, she opened the car window and threw the stolen shoes to him. Hotae's colleague's story brought back memories for him. He realized that Jin-suk hadn't stood him up that day. For 10 years, he had treasured those shoes. At that moment, Hotae decided he would protect Jin-suk like he did 10 years ago. No matter who she was, he bought matching outfits for them and took pictures together, making everything feel like it did 10 years ago. The police were planning to issue a wanted poster for Jin-suk. Hotae tried to alter it by adding a mole to Jin-suk's face, hoping to mislead them, but when he got home, he realized that Jin-suk already had a mole on her face. Hotae was exasperated, but that wasn't all. The police uncovered more evidence of Jin-suk's crimes. Jin-suk had not only stolen paintings from art galleries but also porcelain, diamonds, and even assets worth 5 billion. Coincidentally, the police received a tip from a citizen who claimed to have seen Jin-suk. The police mobilized immediately. Hotae panicked and quickly called Jin-suk, telling her to get out of there. Thanks to Hotae's call, Jin-suk managed to escape right under the police's noses. To give Jin-suk a chance to escape, Hotae disguised himself as a Native American, trying to distract his colleagues and buy her some time. He was almost beaten up by a group of officers. At a critical moment, Jin-suk appeared just in time to save Hotae. The two of them, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, nearly ended up fighting the police on the street. Fortunately, a van showed up just in time, and Jin-suk and Hotae escaped. Back at the police station, Hotae's colleagues were tracking the masked person through surveillance footage. They even sketched a suspect's portrait based on the footage. Hotae saw that the sketch looked remarkably like him. His colleagues noticed the resemblance too but didn't suspect much. However, this turn of events landed Hotae in trouble. He was now considered an accomplice of Jin-suk and was placed on the wanted list alongside her. Hotae was losing it. He had once been the most promising detective, and now everything was ruined because of Jin-suk. Calculating the consequences, Hotae realized that Jin-suk's crimes would land her at least 12 years in prison. To lessen the trouble for Hotae, Jin-suk suggested returning all the stolen items. However, she needed Hotae's help as a police officer. Hotae reluctantly agreed. First, Jin-suk took Hotae to an informant. The same informant had helped them escape the police with the van. To get the information they needed, Hotae had to sell his Rolex watch. Armed with the intel, they went to an auction where the stolen porcelain was being sold. Hotae placed the highest bid and won the porcelain. That night, they returned the porcelain to its rightful owner. The next morning, Hotae, pretending to be unaware, visited the owner to inquire why they had reported the porcelain stolen if it was at home. Fearing trouble, the owner withdrew the report. Over the next few days, they repeated this process, returning each stolen item to its original owner. They thought it was all over, but fate had other plans. One evening, a drunken colleague of Hotae showed up at his house and stumbled upon Jin-suk. The colleague chased Jin-suk, forcing her to flee. The colleague pieced together the relationship between the two and confronted Jin-suk, asking if she had considered how her actions would ruin Hotae's career. His words hit Jin-suk hard. He was right. She couldn't be so selfish. Fortunately, Hotae's colleague didn't betray him but instead helped cover for him. However, the colleague also told Hotae that this situation couldn't continue. As a colleague and friend, he could turn a blind eye, but Hotae had a bright future ahead of him, and she couldn't ruin it for him. Hotae understood this all too well, but when it came to Jin-suk, he couldn't help but be drawn to her. When Hotae got home, he found that Jin-suk had left. She had only left behind the matching outfits they had once worn. 10 years had passed, and it had been so hard for them to reunite. This time, he was determined not to let her go. Hotae found the informant and learned about Jin-suk's past. It turned out that Jin-suk's father had racked up a huge debt with loan sharks, and she became a thief to pay off his debt. Jin-suk hadn't had it easy all these years either. The informant gave Hotae an address. Following the address, Hotae finally found Jin-suk. Jin-suk was hiding in her secret base, wallowing in sadness. Hotae's arrival seemed to lift all her sorrow. Hotae took Jin-suk to see the ocean. They walked on the beach, watched a baseball game, and kissed under the night sky. Their love from 10 years ago was finally rekindled. To protect Jin-suk, Hotae arranged for a fake passport so she could leave the country temporarily. Under the gentle night sky, Hotae and Jin-suk held each other tightly, reluctant to part. Hotae promised Jin-suk that this would be their last separation. He took out a box containing 2 rings. They were the engagement rings he had planned to give her 10 years ago. The gift that had gone undelivered back then was finally given to Jin-suk now. Just as Jin-suk had left, the police arrived. It turned out that their time at the baseball game had been broadcast on television, capturing them together. As Hotae prepared to face the police alone, Jin-suk returned. She used Hotae's handcuffs to lock them together, making it look like he was the one arresting her. Jin-suk smiled and told Hotae that being caught by him made her happy. Jin-suk was arrested, and Hotae got promoted. No matter how much the police questioned Jin-suk, she refused to reveal who had hidden her. Hotae visited Jin-suk, but she still wouldn't talk. His colleagues even considered using force, and seeing this broke Hotae's heart. Finally, Hotae confessed in front of his colleagues that he was the one who had hidden Jin-suk. Not only that, but he also loudly declared his love for her. He admitted that 10 years ago, he had resented her for leaving without a word, but now he realized it was because he loved her too much. No matter how many years Jin-suk would be sentenced to, he vowed to wait for her. Jin-suk was sentenced, and Hotae was demoted to traffic cop. One day, Hotae visited Jin-suk, chatting with her, singing to her, and reminiscing about their past. Their 10-year history flashed before his eyes. He truly loved Jin-suk deeply. Before leaving, Hotae quietly told Jin-suk some news. He had a way to get her released 3 months early. The police were stumped by a recent case. They needed a ledger from a criminal to get a warrant, but the criminal's house was full of surveillance cameras, making entry impossible. Hotae proposed a solution: let Jin-suk do it. Jin-suk was a theft genius. She could easily get in with just a leather suit and a steel wire. The police agreed to Hotae's plan. Sure enough, Jin-suk used her skills to break into the criminal's safe and steal the ledger. She even snagged a stack of cash on her way out. Because of her help, Jin-suk's sentence was reduced, and she was released. In the end, she and Hotae lived happily ever after. This was a love game between a cat and a mouse. Many lovers in this world share the same stance and similar backgrounds, yet still stab each other in the back. True love transcends positions and enmity. Even if the other person is your mortal enemy, even if it means facing ruin, you're still willing to go through fire and water for them, even if it costs you everything. The movie ends. Alright, that's all for today. Feel free to like and comment.